Natalie Wood's death. What to know about her mysterious drowning? Natalie Wood's death at 43 years old has sparked decades of speculation, with many still wondering what truly happened the night she drowned. Robert Wagner's first wife, actress Natalie Wood, died under mysterious circumstances in 1981. In 2018, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department named Wagner a person of interest in the investigation into Wood's death. Wagner has denied any involvement. The Rebel Without a Cause star died on a boat trip to California's Catalina Island in November 1981. On Thanksgiving weekend that year, Wood and Wagner set sail on their 60-foot yacht, the Splendor, alongside Wood's Brainstorm co-star Christopher Walken and their longtime skipper, Dennis Davern. Los Angeles County Coroner Thomas Noguchi ruled her death an accidental drowning, noting her blood alcohol content was 0.14%, and suggesting the actress may have slipped into the freezing water while trying to tie up the vessel's dinghy. Her sister Lana was skeptical of the proposed explanation because of Natalie's lifelong fear of dark waters, claiming her sister would never have attempted to reboard the vessel's dinghy on her own in the middle of the night. While the actress' death was initially ruled an accidental drowning, the case would continue to stir controversy. In 2011, Davern went to authorities with information about the alleged fight between Wood and Wagner, moments before her death, details he had previously withheld, and the investigation was officially reopened. At one point, Wagner was named more of a person of interest in relation to Wood's death. However, in May 2022, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department cleared the actor of involvement. Davern's admissions to Lana came around the same time she gained access to the original police report, sparking her own investigation into the incident. According to Lana, she was struck by a number of elements, including reports that both Wagner and Walken had been interviewed by authorities for less than 10 minutes in the immediate aftermath of Natalie's death, as well as witness statements that appear to have been dismissed by the initial investigators. So, how did Natalie Wood die? Here are all the details of the star's death. Following Wood's death in 1981, the LA coroner, Dr. Thomas Noguchi, initially ruled that she died due to an accidental drowning. On the day of her death, Wood, Wagner, and Walken had dinner and drinks on land and returned to the yacht around 10 p.m. Shortly after, Wagner allegedly had a confrontation with Walken after he made comments about Wood's career. While there are conflicting reports of Wood's final moments, Wagner said it was during this time that she disappeared. In his memoir, he wrote that he had seen Natalie go to bed prior to the argument. However, when he returned to their bedroom later that night, she was nowhere to be found, and he soon discovered that the yacht's dinghy was also missing. Although it would have been out of character for Wood to take the dinghy out so late at night, Wagner wrote that he initially figured she had headed to land to get away from the fighting. In Pieces of My Heart, Wagner wrote that he alerted Davern and then called for the shore boat to take him to the island. When Wagner didn't find Wood or the dinghy near the dock, Davern radioed for help from the Baywatch, a private coast patrol, at around 1:30 a.m. 2 hours later, Wagner called the Coast Guard. After an extensive search of the boat, the Coast Guard began a search and rescue. After hours of searching, the dinghy was found at 5:30 a.m. in an isolated cove. The boat was in neutral and turned off, and Wood was not on board. 2 hours later, Wood's body was discovered. She was wearing a red parka over a nightgown and had bruising on her arms and legs as well as an abrasion on her cheek. She also had a blood alcohol content of 0.14%. In a press conference, Dr. Noguchi concluded that after accidentally falling into the water, Wood had attempted to board the dinghy. Based on fingernail scratch marks on the inflatable boat side, he believed she had clung to its side, but was weighed down by her waterlogged parka and was unable to pull herself up. She stayed afloat for as long as possible until, as Noguchi theorized, overcome by exhaustion and hypothermia, she drowned. Despite having already won an Oscar for his 1978 performance in The Deer Hunter, Walken was a relative newcomer to Hollywood when the then 38-year-old accompanied Natalie and Wagner on their Thanksgiving holiday in 1981. In the decades since her death, Walken, now 78, has rarely spoken publicly about that night. Marilyn Wayne, a woman who came forward in 2011, was on a boat with her boyfriend and son 50 feet away from the splendor. She told detectives that she had heard the alleged altercation and a woman screaming for help, per The Hollywood Reporter. Wayne claimed that she called Harbor Patrol and no one answered. "Help me, someone please help me, I'm drowning," we heard repeatedly. Alarmed, I called out to my son, who also heard the cries, and looked at his new digital watch. It was just minutes after 11 p.m., Wayne claimed, adding that she later heard a man's voice slurred, and in aggravated tone, say something to the effect of, "Oh, hold on, we're coming to get you." While the initial investigation around Wood's death concluded it was an accident, over the years, Davern has unsuccessfully tried to get authorities to give the case another look. In November 2011, the case was reopened after he came forward with information he had shared in his book but had previously withheld from investigators. 3 days after the incident, Marilyn Wayne reported finding an anonymous handwritten note in her office client box that warned, "If you value your life, keep quiet about what you know." Marilyn Wayne, "After all I've learned since my own direct experience with the death of Natalie, I am stunned that Robert Wagner has never been properly interrogated regarding Natalie Wood's death. I immediately suspected it was related to Natalie Wood's death because that's all anyone had been talking about. I was disturbed and even told an attorney about the threat." Wagner has never been charged, and police plan to reach out to him as part of the reopened investigation, but they say he is not a suspect. The heart-to-heart actor, who is now 81, has always maintained that there was no foul play involved in his wife's death. The captain of the Splendor, Dennis Davern, said that he believes that Wagner is to blame for Wood's death. "Yes, I would say so," Davern said on NBC's Today last week when he was asked if Wagner was responsible. He admitted that he may have been at fault as well, saying, "We didn't take any steps to see if we could locate her. It was a matter of don't look too hard, don't turn on a searchlight, don't call anyone." Davern also said that he lied to officials in the initial police report. The official declined to comment on whether Davern could face charges if that's true. Wagner and Walken, who were filming Brainstorm with Wood at the time, reportedly got into an alcohol-fueled argument before her death. Wood is believed to have gone into the master cabin bathroom while they were arguing, but when Wagner went to bed, he noticed Wood wasn't there. Wood's aversion to water was famous. She couldn't swim, and once said in a TV interview that her greatest fear was of dark seawater. The investigation has the support of the Wagner family. Although no one in the Wagner family has heard from the LA County Sheriff's Department about this matter, they fully support the efforts of the LA County Sheriff's Department and trust they will evaluate whether any new information relating to the death of Natalie Wood Wagner is valid, and that it comes from a credible source or sources other than those simply trying to profit from the 30th anniversary of her tragic death. Robert Wagner thanks everyone working on this case.